Keeps on back to shade my smile. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever the case may be. For all of you listening out there across the crazy planet Earth, welcome to Vestiges After Dark. And I am your host, Bishop Brian Willett, coming to you live from the foothills and the deep woods of Western Georgia. Tonight, on this October 11th, 2022, we are going to be talking about cursed objects and domestic hauntings with returning guest Tony Burkett. He's been on before, a comedian that's had some pretty interesting paranormal experiences in his life, and tonight he's got a new one to share of a personal nature. We'll be dissecting it tonight over the next 3 hours with Father Chris, who's joining us. It's going to be a great show. Don't go anywhere. I hope everyone is having, again, a wonderful evening. We are doing this. It seems like it was just yesterday that we were right here a few days ago with Amanda Morris. It was a great show on Saturday, a special edition of Vestiges. And tonight, we're back to the regular schedule and going to have some fun tonight. There's no question about that. Now, I want to mention that, everyone that's been watching this season knows that ever since we started season 6, we've been having those strange disconnection issues on YouTube. Well, anywhere we're doing or sending the video feed. So anywhere that's being simulcasted to video, which would include YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and there might be one or two others that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but we've been having some problems with the video feed. The audio to Spreaker and iTunes and iHeartRadio, that's been doing just fine. So the podcast part, or the podcast version of this show, has not been having any difficulty at all. But that the video feed gives out. So I want to put an announcement out right now. 2 things. Well, actually 3. Number 1, if it goes out, switch over to Spreaker until we get the video back up, okay? So Spreaker will have the continuous audio feed. You'll know what's going on. You'll hear the parts of the show that are being missed. Usually if it gives out, I will cut to break, even if it's early, and then, try to get the video feed back up. It typically doesn't give out more than once a show. But Amanda did do a little magic on it last time on Saturday, and we didn't have any problems after that. And so far, we haven't had any problems now. Not one dropped frame rate. I'm seeing 0% drop frames, and that's what we want to see. So can we get through 3 hours tonight without it? Now, I did reset the router just before the show. I think that helps a lot. So I'm trying to do a little bit metaphysical as well as physical solutions. Now, when we come back to video, I will bring it back. Okay, so make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so you get the announcements and you'll know when we come back live. Okay, this is going to be a potential issue until we can improve the internet here, which is going to require that I get part of this property zoned commercial, because Comcast will not bring their high-speed internet to this location until there's a commercial zone. So we can subdivide out part of this property. I have over 18 acres. We can, even if it's just 1 acre of commercial property, I can get Comcast out here, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than trying to use one of these other services that's $1,000 a month, which is insane. So I am working on it. It's just going to take some time to be able to do all that. Okay. But understand what to do until then. Okay. So if it cuts out, go over to Spreaker. All right. And be subscribed to the YouTube channel so you know when we come back live. I will bring it back at the next reasonable break. Okay. But the show will continue because the audio only version doesn't get interrupted by this problem. It's only the video that seems to have the issue. All right. So, before we get started with tonight's show, I just want to do questions and comments from the ether. And Brandon's is our guy. He's got all the questions. I don't know if I have all the answers, but he has all the questions. So this one is a good one. Again, I like picking some of his nice paranormal questions because a lot of you watch this show because you're fascinated with the paranormal, and that's a topic that we deal with often on this show. So this is what he asks. Hey, Bishop, have you ever encountered a scenario where spirits seeking assistance to pass on just come into your house? Okay, so what we're dealing with here is, you go on a case and you've got some ghosts that you encounter or some kind of unrested spirit. And he's asking, do they just come back with you? And the answer is yes, but I do the invitation. I don't know if they would come voluntarily because I've never really tried that. I always invite them back to the house because my house has a private chapel. And this house has the Holy Mass that is said every single week, sometimes more than once a week. And every Mass prays for the dead. I know that traditionally, the traditional theology is that we're offering prayers and grace to the souls in purgatory. But I extend that out to anybody who might need that grace, which could include souls that are lost. Now, I guess that's another topic for another question. Maybe we can get into that later on. I don't know. I know our guest tonight, Tony Burkett, often has questions of his own to ask. So we might get a little interviewed here ourselves, and then there'll be a lot of back and forth, and maybe we'll get to some of the questions that are on your mind because Tony has some really good questions. And it's always fascinating to hear what's on people's minds in the paranormal sense. So basically, yes, they come home, but I've never tried it if it was voluntary. I've always invited every time I'm on a case, I invite them back. And then at the next Mass, we pray for them, and then that dissipates the energy. I mean, they cross over at that point. We never have problems after this. And so that is the answer to the question. But yes, it is potentially, if they know that you're there to help, if they can sense instinctually that your intention is to help them, they might come back with you because there's a chance that you might be able to do something to alleviate their suffering, because there is a lot of suffering in being lost in this sense. And this is why I'm against, as I said on Saturday, haunted tourism, because, it's not, we should really be helping them move on, not trying to make money off of their plight in life or in death, I should say. And Moosh in the chat room I see is asking, what's our libration tonight? Yes, Red Breast 27. And we also have a muscadine cider from Ellijay, Georgia, up in the mountains, or I guess it's the beginning of the Georgia mountains.
Don't have much left.
Not much left. It was very good. Non-alcoholic. It's cider in the United States means unfiltered juice. Cider everywhere else in the world is an alcoholic beverage. Right. So understand, when an American is talking about cider, they're probably not talking about alcohol. I know, isn't it? But this is actually pretty good. We do have a muscadine wine. We actually have muscadine wine in here. But, we're going to have a great show tonight. And, the libations help you to get through the process, because you relax, you sit back, you unwind, and enjoy Vestiges After Dark. So we've got Father Chris, as you're already seeing here with us tonight. Welcome back to the show, Father. You weren't here with us on Saturday. Everyone missed you, but they're happy you're here tonight.
Yeah, he's getting all kinds of love from the chat room.
Yes, you are very much missed. I mean, people, you are a fixture now. I don't think they would take very kindly to you no longer being on the show. So you're stuck now.
You're stuck with us. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, fresh haircut too.
I'm happy to be a fixture. I was doing another job over the weekend. I was the events control room operator for the supercars at the Bathurst 1000, which is
you poor guy.
That's the closest we get to the Indy 500.
Right.
It used to be the Bathurst 500 when it was miles, but now it's kilometers, so they've had to double it. But it's kind of it's a big event, and cars going 300 k's an hour around a track. So it was very wet. There was massive rains and floods, and
oh my goodness.
So my job's to sort of coordinate the other emergency services in response to all of that. So
well, it's great to have.
What I was doing.
It's great to have you with us, even though you have other responsibilities.
We'll take that as a good excuse.
I know. Well, we're just glad you're here with us tonight, and I do apologize to the audience. Part of the problem is I was hoping that I could have my microphone coming this way, like it always used to at the other location, but it doesn't attach properly, or at least the way I need it to from that side. I'm going to try to do something and jerry-rig it so it does, but it blocks my view of my switchboard, and I apologize that Father Chris's mic wasn't on when I introduced him. So you missed a little bit about what he said for the first 30 seconds or so. But I did notice it. It's just this blocks it, so I can't always see that his mic's off, or at least I should say there's nothing obvious to me. So I have to get a way to move this microphone so it's not right smack in the middle of my control panel. I will work on it. I promise. It's like the internet. I will work on this. Anyway, we got a great show tonight. We're talking about domestic hauntings and cursed objects, and it's kind of a general topic, but our returning guest, Tony Burkett, is here with us to talk about a new paranormal story that he's experienced. How are you doing tonight, Tony? Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you just fine. Yeah, you're good.
Just making sure. Well, thanks for having me. I'm super excited about being back on. A couple things. It didn't even occur to me to drink during this, and that's
kind of a requirement, Tony.
I mean, I should have done it. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not a big drinker, but this is when you do it.
This is when you do it. I mean,
we're talking The Exorcist.
I'm not a big drinker, so I'll drink while I'm live on the internet.
Yeah.
Why not? Right? Why not? I mean,
if anybody,
I'm drinking water.
If anyone in town is watching this and you want to bring me booze, I'll do it, and this will get very weird very
water
quickly.
Hey,
Also, additionally, I just want to say I didn't bring you anything from the ether, but I brought you a whole bunch of questions from Pensacola. Since we booked this, I've been collecting questions at live shows, on the internet, social media, our Patreon.
Yeah.
A lot of them are sexual.
I deal with sexuality all the time, so you can ask it.
You might take that back after this.
Well, no, it's fine. Believe me, it'd be hard to it'd be hard to shock me. But let's see what
sexuality is like a beautiful thing. This is perverts.
Well, I mean, I have to deal with perverts too sometimes.
He's got to deal with me. I'm a pervert.
Well, there you go.
All right. That's enough. I want to hear that.
Sorry, Tony, we met.
But I did write a bunch of questions for y'all, and I think I have a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to do them during questions for the ether, or you want me to pepper them in.
Well, let's do this. Well, usually what we do is the first segment we go over whatever's on the guest's mind, and this can be your story about the haunted couch. So essentially you bought a couch, and it was from the Facebook marketplace. So it was a used couch. And then you said you started having some kind of paranormal issues in your condominium after that. So we want to hear about that. And then let's leave, segments 2 and 3 for questions, because that's when we start taking questions from guests. And well, tonight we can take questions from you. So
okay, that works for me.
Okay, good.
Now, you want me to dive right in?
Dive right in. Let's hear it. So what's going on with this couch? Let's start from the beginning. You needed a couch, so you went to Facebook Marketplace.
Let me say this first.
Okay.
So when I first spoke to you this year, and a lot's changed since then, and this couch which would have been the meat of the story then, I feel was just like a side effect of something greater that was going on the other side of the wall. I'm in a condo. It's not some like people under the stairs thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't a turn of phrase. It's a condo. And I think that the couch thing had something to do with what was going on next door. I will say the couch thing, it freaked me out. So we had needed new couches. It's 2 couches, actually. It's a sofa and a love seat.
Okay.
And we needed new ones for a while. And my wife, of course, got a deal you can't pass up on these mustard yellow couches.
From the
Very
same
nice.
location.
Yes.
Okay.
This lady was having a complete estate sale.
Okay.
And a really great deal on perfectly intact couches. And so we went to pick them up. And I don't know if it definitely adds to the creepiness. No offense, Chris. But we got there and she had a British accent, which, Brian, you've been to Pensacola.
Yeah.
That's not a thing you run across.
No, typically the
Very
Panhandle doesn't have a lot of British people.
And it's a very cosmopolitan accent.
Yeah.
And it's more startling.
Yeah.
It's when you picture a stereotypical ghost, they have a British accent, So that's just probably an inconsequential fact, but it was just kind of, wow, okay. And she mentioned that it was her son's couch and that he went away to jail. And I'm assuming was for a very long time when you factor in she came from England to sell everything that he owned, So we got these couches to the house and literally didn't think